Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Deskside Chats podcast presented by the City of Northport. My name is Madison Hyde, and I'm the Deputy Communications Manager for the city. Everyone has a story, right? In this podcast, I'll be learning the stories of our employees right here in the City of Northport. Join me as I chat with folks from all walks of life, across departments and divisions. We're building a community of unity. Get to know the staff working for you every day. Now let's lean in and chat Deskside. If you're a kid, or you have kids, you've probably met or heard of Aquatics Supervisor Devón Poulos. Having spent a significant time in foster care growing up, Devón developed a passion for working with kids and preparing them for their futures. We'll chat about his unique family story, varied career, and his dedication to aquatics and water safety. Devón brightens any room, and I hope our conversation brightens your ears? Anyway, let's dive in. Hello, Devón.
How are you doing, Madison?
I'm good. How are you?
Just a fantastic day.
Oh, I know. It always is for you, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I love it. All right. So for our little Deskside chats, we always start off kind of with the origin story. So let's start from the beginning. Were you born? Are you a local Floridian?
I am. I'm all the way from Port Charlotte, Florida. So, so it's a far travel there.
A far trek.
Yes, I was born in Port Charlotte there, raised in the area, and moved to Northport. Probably, I want to say around like 2004, 2005-ish. From there, Port Charlotte was becoming overpopulated a little bit, so people were kind of moving up to Northport when it was still a little, cost-effective at that point to move from there as well. But I was down there in Charlotte County when Charlie came through and all that. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you've been there. Okay.
Yep.
So quite some time. And I saw, so from like the little outline you sent to me, you spent some time in foster care?
Yeah, so my mother, made some not so good choices, not, touching on crazy about that, but, we know it's out there in the community. And so myself and my brother, we spent right about 8 years in foster care. So I have a younger brother who's, I say younger, but yeah, I'm so proud of him. He's playing D2 football right now, but we bounced around in the system. So we actually were in 16 different foster homes, and there was about 8 or 9 months that I spent away from my family, didn't know where they were at.
Oh,
so,
that's scary.
But I had some really good role models in there, some good guardian ad litems that really took me kind of under their wing and, kind of helped me out of that, because really I should not be where I'm at today if you look at those statistics of foster kids. Mm-hmm. Yes, it was a time there, and actually, one of the judges is actually still on the circuit court, actually listened to me, and I was able to, my only thing was if I started at Northport High, I wanted to end at Northport High, and the judge actually made that happen, so it was pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
Awesome. So I don't know how the system works, but do you still stay in touch with any of the people that
Yeah, so there's about 3 to 5 of them there that I still, keep in touch or see out, in the public and such like that there. It's a really good system, so the problem with this foster care system, unfortunately, is it's just so inundated with kids needing help at that point. Mm-hmm. One of the bullet points we'll probably touch on a little bit later there is that's what kind of led myself and my wife to go the adoption route, is we wanted to really kind of help a kid out of that situation there, but it's just so inundated. The number here in Sarasota County, I don't have it, but it's a fairly large number of kids that are not in their homes.
Right, yeah. So then... And I know that that's probably what led you to kind of this path.
Definitely.
At least I know this is kind of like the jumping off point
Exactly.
for whatever you want your career to flow into.
Absolutely.
But so once you graduated, then what happened?
So
Where'd you go?
after I graduated high school, I had already had a job at the Northport YMCA there. So I was working there full time as a lifeguard, then kind of became an assistant program director, became a program director. All while I was starting my college. I wanted to really be a math teacher at that point in time. Then I got into that. I started at a university online school. Then I kind of switched around, and then I finished up at FIU.
Okay.
In the process of that, I've probably switched majors. I tell people, don't follow it after me for college. Kind of have an idea about what you want to do, because you start some classes and then you have to go back. Now you have too many excess credits and all that stuff there. So
I get it.
I kind of landed on psychology, and part of that was because I think it's very interesting to find out how people groove and work together.
Right.
But then again, I like the degree because it really is a baseline for all career paths. I really didn't have an idea what I wanted to do for that, so it was really good to just say, hey, I know how the human brain maybe thinks, some different processes and stuff like that there.
Yeah.
And it's kind of helped out.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's all encompassing, especially for the things it sounds like you're passionate about. So then, so where were you at? So you're at the, oh my God, there. My brain is 5 steps ahead of my mouth right now. So you were at the Northport YMCA. Then from there, did you go to?
So when I was working at the Northport Y, was kind of when the whole change around with the Venice Y kind of coming in for that there. So Manatee County government reached out to me, and I was probably 18 or 19 years old, and they reached out and offered me my first kind of professional job. So they offered me a rec coordinator job, and it was really awesome. The only thing that wasn't was the drive. So I was driving to GT Bray, for those listening, if you know where that's at. For Northport, it was a good hour each way at that point. So I spent about 9 or 10 months with Manatee County.
Okay.
When an opportunity opened up to go work for the Sarasota Y as a behavior specialist at Tryout Alternative School. I am so blessed for that position because it opened up my eyes to that, and so I worked there for a full school year, and then unfortunately the Sarasota Y went under, so we all got laid off.
Got it.
If it wouldn't have been for that, I wouldn't have been at the city. That was my job. I was like that was there. Dealing with I had kids that had punch teachers, hit teachers, got into fights, stabbed each other, gangs, and to just be able to come into work. It was pretty awesome. The last day of school, I brought my wife into school with me, and she was like, oh my gosh, those kids have a lot of respect for it. They became just my kids, and it was a really good job. And a lot of them I still keep in contact with. A couple have graduated and such. So after I left Woodland Middle School, Sarasota Y Triad, I moved down to Woodland Middle School. So I worked kind of for the school district, but for the Sarasota Y, when the school district heard we were getting laid off, one of their members up there from the landings called me and said, hey, we got this great opportunity at Woodland. It was awesome. So I went down there for about 3 months at that point in time. And then I got the call from the city saying, hey, we have a position open as a rec coordinator.
Right.
So I left Woodland there. But when I left Woodland Middle School, I knew I was still going to be able to see those same kids.
Sure.
Just in a different role.
Yeah, you're not going too far.
I came over and worked about a year and a half as the recreation coordinator for the Mullen Center. Worked on a bunch of programs and activities and such. And then I heard they were building this shiny, brand new, beautiful aquatic center there.
Yes.
And so I said, well, hey, I have my aquatic certs. I was a lifeguard. I was a kayak instructor, a swimming lesson instructor. I was like, hey, I would love to move over to the aquatic center. So I applied for a couple positions. The first time I applied in as the assistant supervisor and was not successful in that role. Then I applied for a lateral transfer over as the head lifeguard. I did that role for about 8 months or so, and the assistant supervisor position was now vacant again. So I got promoted into that role, which was pretty awesome there.
Yeah.
I spent 2 years as the assistant aquatic supervisor, and then once we got to this year, my supervisor moved up to a manager, and then I got promoted to the aquatic supervisor. So, so we're just a little bit less than a year of myself being the supervisor, but it's something is always different and new happening at the aquatic center, and always a lot of people, a lot of kids, and I still gotta get to have that same impact with kids, just in a different way.
Right, and now it's with I know that you have big time passion for the water safety side of things, which is also like helping kids, like you said, but just in a different way. So what are some of the ways that you do that there at the aquatic center?
Well, through the aquatic center, I've built a lot of great relationships relationships with a lot of the city staff that work here. So one of the big things that we do is a Safe at Home series where we bring families in to talk to them about water safety. This year was the 1.5 years that the Aquatic Centers participated in the Manda Swim program. So we had a little bit over 600 kids come in from all the area school in Northport to come take swimming lessons for a week. We actually just we were meeting with our fire department to begin doing some training talks with them. So we do some mutual training with them so our lifeguards know. And then with having a staff of predominantly 16, 17, 18-year-olds, I take it as an honor and a privilege that I get to kind of shape them in those last couple years of their school. Right. So a lot of them, I have a lot of kids who've gone on to be nurses. I have a lot of want to be firefighters. One of our part-timers, he just went off to the military. So it's awesome to know that there is a bit and piece that I had a part of at that point.
Right. They get a lot of exposure to a lot of different types of things, and you wouldn't necessarily think that when you quote just a lifeguard. There's so much more that goes into it.
And we use our facility to really talk about safety in, on, and around the water. So a lot of people think, pools, that's where, kids are drowning at. No, it's actually, the lakes, the streams, the canals, where we don't expect a kid to actually be going in the water.
Right.
Kids at a playground and a ball rolls and they, accidentally slip in the water at that point. So we're always trying to, and then educating the parents. There's a difference between watching the water and scanning the water,
Yes.
and so we try to get our parents to understand that this is all part of this, chain that we can really help prevent drownings from happening there.
Yeah, right. Wow. That's super cool. And I can't believe that program that you said, like 600 kids.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's
Louise.
It's a crazy program. Yes.
That's awesome. That's great. So then I know, you're passionate about that, but I also just happen to know, because I know you, that you are super active around the community. So you're into Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Yes. That's how you say it. And you serve on some different boards with the school and things like that.
Exactly.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Big Brother Big Sisters is an awesome program we do here within the city. There's several staff who are on a part of it there, and we get to take kids in who in this program are really kind of those kids that maybe need a mentor, but maybe don't need a mentor. They're kind of in that middle there. And then we get to have, talk to them, what are you thinking about? What are we thinking about? And then we get to show them what we do here. Mm-hmm. Get them excited about a career. So the kids I would say that we see are probably those kids that are not tracked for college, and that's okay. But we get them get them involved in some different city positions. I also sit on the School Advisory Council for Woodland Middle School and Northport High School. So once again, I take that as an honor and a privilege that they ask me to come back every year for that. But I just love everything about Northport and everything about the youth here. We're a small growing town, and I want kids to feel that they're heard. So the school advisory councils are really cool because you can have the principal of a school talking with a freshman of the school, and they're saying, no, I don't like this money being spent here, and the principal's saying, well, why? So it really is a really engaged council there.
Right, like all ages discussing what could be better for them. That's awesome. And I mean, I know, I've seen you, at the, it feels like everyone, Devon. It feels like everyone is like, hey, Devon, oh my God, hey. It's like every person that walks by knows you, which is a real testament to how involved you are. That's super cool. So, okay, now speaking of kids, transition time.
Yeah.
Your own kids. So I know that you and your wife just recently adopted.
We did. We adopted our 5-year-old son, and sooner rather than later we'll drop that. One of the cool things for the adoption, I thought it was really cool and emotional moment for us, is the judge is like, when you sign this document, it'll be like he was born to you, and I'm like, oh my gosh, soon we'll drop the hey, we adopt him, he's just our son there. But I felt for this one it was important to emphasize that. But yeah, so we have our 5-year-old Emmett. He's been with us for right about a little bit over a month and a half. So. My wife and I, we were in the process of actually taking the state classes here, and one of her family members actually reached out, and he suffered some trauma. So he suffered some head trauma at 3 years old there, and so we're really trying to get him up to speed there, and patience with him. But he's just an awesome, loving kid, and we love having him part of our family. Then we have our 1-year-old Oliver that we welcomed last June. So he's already 1, and he's our little rambunctious one trying to get into everything at this point.
Sounds about right.
And then before we knew that we were going to be blessed with Emmett, my wife and I, in January, we found out that we were pregnant again. So we have our third son, and my wife was hoping for a girl, but it is a boy, Noah, that's going to be coming here in November at this point in time. So, we went from 1 to 3 in the last year, and each of them have their own little challenges. We're battling kindergarten right now with Emmett. We have the 1-year-old classroom, the toddler room with Oliver, and then when Noah gets in the mix, we'll be dealing with kind of that newborn stuff. But it's an awesome adventure.
Oh, I mean, it's awesome, but I'm sure also a tiring adventure.
It is, yes,
right?
and we're going through some sleep regressions right now with our 1-year-old. So there's been plenty of nights in the past couple weeks we've been up 2 to 4 o'clock in the morning, and but it never seems to amaze me, and I highlight all the time, and kind of transition to my wife Destiny. We've been together 5 years, married for 2, and phenomenal mom. I honestly could not do it for her and all the energy that she puts in to making sure our kids are put number one. So It's really awesome. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And I'm sure, you both are a great team.
Absolutely. We post all the time on our Facebooks. I could not be where I was professionally if my wife maybe did not sacrifice some of those professional things for her to take care of our kids. So I really am appreciative for her.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so sweet. Shout out Destiny.
Exactly.
I love it. That's great. So then when you're not at work, what are some of the things that you like to do?
Absolutely. So I love to scuba dive. My wife does not. So what I've grown a passion for is traveling to different aquariums and scuba diving in the aquarium. But it allows both my wife and I, and now with our kids, to experience that connection, because she can see me in the tank, they can see me in the tank, but I'm enjoying the fun.
Cool. Right.
So I've gone to Disney twice and done the Epcot tank. On our honeymoon, I went to the Georgia Aquarium and actually went diving in their tank with the whale sharks that are above. So
cool.
It's really awesome there. We enjoy kayaking. We love going to the zoo. Disney we've not hit up as much, but we were crazy Disney people every weekend before the pandemic. We got married, all that stuff there. But that's kind of the piece there. And then now with kids, we used to be like, oh, let's wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go somewhere. Now it's a little bit more planning time there.
Yes.
But no, it's anytime we can get outside of the house for those items, playgrounds, parks. We at least go to the Aquatics Center one time a weekend there with the kids to let them play. But yeah, we just like to be together.
And be together and be outside.
Absolutely.
It sounds like.
Absolutely.
I love that. So, okay, now I got to ask you. I have 3 questions that I ask everybody. You might have heard, but I'm going to say them to you anyway. Do you have a favorite movie?
My favorite movie, and I actually stumbled upon this, is going to be hilarious because I just thought it was so cheesy then, but now watching it has lately been Robots from 2005. I don't know if you remember that kids movie. Like,
I don't.
It is. I'm gonna have to share it with you. But I stumbled upon it with the kids about a month ago there, and it was crazy. But I would say the movie we're probably watching the most right now, because my son likes it, is Luca. So that's
okay.
That's probably right now. But
that's one I haven't. I try to keep up on all those movies, but I have not seen that one yet.
Definitely.
But that's cool. Okay, I love it. Robots from 2005.
Exactly, from 2005. I think is one of
I think for me, I was a sophomore in high school.
Exactly. Okay.
So I might have been too old.
Exactly.
Robots.
Might have been a little too old for Robots.
Might have
exactly.
Been. But then again, I just watched Encanto last year, so I guess I really can't. Or this year, whatever.
That was a great movie.
That was a great movie. Yes. It was. All right. So now TV show.
TV show, my favorite one till they took it off air, but I heard it's coming back, was Live PD. I just loved watching it.
Yes.
I don't know what it is about it, but
it's so
just
fun.
watching it is just great.
Yeah. I love that too.
But I would say right now the show that I've really been liking is I think it's the Kitchen Nightmares with Gordon Ramsay.
Oh my!
I just love to see how these other people keep their kitchens, and he goes there and helps them, and they turn right back to the same kitchen.
Right, and then he'll call them an idiot sandwich or whatever.
Exactly.
He does.
He's ruthless.
He's ruthless, but also so kind.
Exactly. Then you watch him on the kids show, and he's like, "All right, it's okay,
God,
darling."
I know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, MasterChef Kids, right, or something. I love that show. It sounds like we have the same ideas of shows, food and cops.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, you gotta love it.
That's what I do. I'm a big First 48 fan.
Oh, okay, that's a good one too.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. Ice cream flavor.
Oh, it's probably mint chocolate chip.
It's a good one. That's a popular one.
That's
that one's mine too.
Definitely.
Do you have a place you like it from, or just any?
So, not really a place there. I do prefer. I think it's Bluebells.
Okay,
has a good one, and then the Publix brand I think is really good there. I don't know if it's a different brand, but it is really good. Yeah,
just right.
Exactly.
I love it. Well, Definitely. That does it. That brings us to the end, Devon.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Thank you for having me here today.
Super fun, and then I will chat with the rest of you guys next week for the next Deskside chat. Bye.